DAO Watch, episode 32. In this episode, we look at Dash, the MiCA Compliance, a little follow-up on that. We then go and look at Decentraland and their new structure for governance. So then on to Cosmos, in particular Cosmoverse and the AA DAO. And we look at some funds that have gone missing, a total of $80,000 that have just. And finally, we look at Jupiter on Solana. We look at the Jupiter DAO. What are they going to do with $215 million worth of their tokens? And the special guest DAO this episode is none other than CryptoSI DAO. And a great, very, very interesting proposal there as well. So this is DAO Watch episode 32. Let's get going. Hello, welcome to DAO Watch episode 32. I'm CryptoSI. As you know, this episode we have got Dash. A bit of a follow-up, short one for that one. Decentraland. Let's have this as our background. Cosmoverse ticket prices. So we've got Dash, a little follow-up. Decentraland, governance restructuring. Funds missing from Atom Accelerator DAO. That's within Cosmos. That's a very, very interesting one. We've got Solana, Stalwarts, Jupiter. And finally, we've got one from our very own DAO, which is CryptoSI DAO. So we've got a massive 5 projects that we're going to cover today, but we're going to cover them all very quickly. There's only really the Cosmos one, this Cosmos one, which is the only one that has got some real juicy talking points. As ever, please make sure you like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Any comments about anything I've said which may have hurt your feelings, please leave them in the comment section below. I always reply, even when scammers are putting stuff in about their wallets. I still reply because I always reply. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Let me do that transition again. So, let's get started with our first project, Dash. Okay, so last episode we looked into Dash and this MiCA Compliance. So Dash has got this company called Crowdnode. Well, Dash don't own the company. The company owns themselves. They're a private company. They're based in Europe. They're going to need MiCA Compliance so that they can continue to operate in Europe. MiCA Compliance is going to cost them over $10,000. Over. All right. So this initial payment for 6,700 USD. I don't know if Dash has had a massive price drop or if. Let me just check that quickly. Let me just check. Because I thought it was 10k they were asking for. But it looks like it might be less. Let's see. Oh, Dash hasn't dropped. Okay. Hasn't dropped massively. If anything, it's gone up. Okay, so they're not asking for 10k. I'm sure they were previously asking for 10k. Just getting started. They've put it in there that they're just getting started. They've asked for 7k. All right, fair enough. There was, we did look at this before. If you want any more information on that, please go to the episode before this, episode 31. I said I supported it barely. I barely supported it. I was kind of like, I was really on the fence. I don't like the fact that they have to comply. And after watching this video, which was helpfully, I did suggest it, and my prayers were answered, which was helpfully made by the CEO of let's go like that, by the CEO of Crowdnode, as well as Ryan.
Welcome everybody
from Dash Incubator. They had an hour and 25-minute discussion about whether or not we should fund Crowdnode and the whys, and generally the process behind the MiCA regulation compliance and what the alternatives could be, which is very interesting. Andreas, his face here pretty much sums up his entire performance, which was quite condescending, I guess, but clearly understandably condescending, because he's obviously fed up of knuckleheads like me who are yelling and saying, we don't need regulation, rah, rah, rah. We're freedom, we're freedom, we're freedom, we are freedom, we are freedom, etc., etc. So this is a great still for, I guess, summing up Andreas's, possibly his feelings towards the naysayers, and maybe his frustrations with people not understanding the intricacies of running a business. Most of us are business owners in the same way that he is. Most of us don't have to consider these things. Also, as he did say, he is doing this out a lot out of altruism. So what we do have to consider is that while we may disagree with the move to comply or not to comply, we have to all understand and accept that we are all on the same team. So, yeah. Anyway, after watching this video, I will put a link to it in the description below. I was left with more questions than I'd started with, and I would say less in support of the proposal. And here's why. Just to get this, I've still voted to pass it, so in case it matters, yes, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Andreas likes me or dislikes me, but just so that we know like how I'm thinking, so I can explain why. There are so many alternatives and so many other things that need to be done. Ryan himself, who I used to call Rion, to the point where I'm not sure if his name is actually Rion or Ryan. Ryan himself suggested that wallets need to be modified so that a trustless solution can be created, so that they are no longer custodians, so that they are no longer financial providers, or whatever the terminology is, I don't know. And effectively, I guess it comes down to, which is great that these two are speaking, it comes down to the core developers. Remember, there are core, and then there is incubator, and then I guess there are also freelancers. The core team are busy with platform, etc., etc. Incubator, I believe, need to take this on. Ryan didn't say it himself by the end of the discussion, but I do think he understands that him and his guys, they need to take this on. The payment is just to get started, to pay lawyers, etc., etc. Again, there was no suggestion of who he's going to pay. That wasn't discussed in here. He believes that they are good, and I guess he would know best. I guess it's not something that you can open up to the community to say, who should we get, because you need a real intricate knowledge of his business, as well as an intricate knowledge of potential lawyers to represent his business. So I guess it's not something that we need to be privy to, but I would still like it. The real problem I have is that we just don't know how much it's going to cost or how long the process will take. We still just don't know. We can ballpark it, but even then, how accurate is it? So, for me, if I had to give it a scale of 1 to 10, 5 being a pass, 4.9 being a fail, I'd give it a 5.2. Literally, I'm just over the line. The discussion about open sourcing the project, I believe they definitely have to open source it. If they get MiCA compliance, they definitely have to open source it because of the simple fact that Dash has kept them in business. More to the point, Dash has also given them a moat. So they now can't be competed with by me or anybody else unless they have $10,000 to $30,000 to go and pay for lawyers to go through this same process that Andreas is going through. It may be cheaper once precedence is set, but as I said in the last episode, in Europe, precedence is not a thing in the same way as it is in the UK, and I believe in the US. Precedence is not a thing. So we can't say because this happened with this guy, this should happen with this guy 2 years later. It just doesn't work that way in Europe because, Europeans like to make up the rules as they go along. So, okay, enough rambling. The main point is I think we need to get open source from this guy if it passes. If it doesn't pass, then of course, protect your company. If it does pass, open source it because your company is protected by the fact that you're regulated and everyone has to be regulated and anyone else who comes to compete with you has to be regulated. Sub open source it. For Ryan, you got to take this on, buddy. You got to take this on. Even if it's something that you build and put out there to force Core's hand to either integrate it or validate it, check to see if it's good. I don't know. The terminology escapes me at the moment, but I think this is the guy who needs to make it happen from a wallet point of view so that we get closer to having a trustless crowd node that does not need to be regulated. I think that's where we are. Pay for it, get regulated, and then push all efforts onto this guy to, with open source code, help the wallets to be able to interact in a trustless way. Simple as that. Still voting yes for me with more reservations. I wish we knew that paying this money would get them approved, but it simply doesn't. Like, it's not a fee. It's not a fee. We're paying to have the argument. So we could pay all this money, 30 grand, let's say, ballpark. I'm going to get told off. Ballpark, 30 grand, and they still don't get MiCA compliance. The discussion within the chat has stayed very nice, polite, etc., etc. It was recently said that Crowdnode had hiked their fees, which was dropped in there by Lysergic. The man did say during the interview that they're operating pretty much at a loss. Then there was also this proposal which popped up, which tries to give the Dash Core group extra money instead of funding MiCA. There's no way this will pass because it's stupid. I think, if anything, you would maybe give the money to Incubator or one of those guys, giving it to Core Group, extra income so that they can continue to pay their devs. Nah, it's stupid. It's not going to pass. It's not going to pass. It's stupid. And got nothing against Core Group, but it's stupid. Something that was interesting, which was said, was by Quizzy doesn't like this proposal. He blames the low fee. Sounds like Quizzy doesn't want people to have a say. But I like the proposal. I think it's stupid, but I'm in the same camp as Lysergic yet again. He likes the proposal because it puts the two directly together, which kind of for someone like me, helps to push me over the edge. Well, what else should we use this money for? Should we use this money to go and promote Dash in China? Or should we use this money to fund DCG? Dash in China, maybe I should have covered this one. But this has been way too long on Dash for something that's supposed to be a follow-up. Let's move on to the next project. I really want to cover this Dash in China now, you know. But let's move on to the next project, which is Decentraland. Okay, I'm not going to take long with this proposal. I love the idea behind it. It's clearly somebody who has got a decent knowledge of DAOs and probably a tiny knowledge of the real world. So I'm assuming whoever wrote this proposal is under the age of 25. I'm just going to assume that. I'm also going to assume that whoever wrote this proposal has got less than $10,000 in their savings. Here's why. So this proposal, it complains about the DAO governance within Decentraland. I've complained about this before because it's mostly toothless. The proposal is not passing currently. I believe it's still going. Yeah, it's not passing currently. It would be a toothless proposal anyway, but it would signify what the community wants, although most of the community don't vote. I don't vote. I own land in Decentraland. Don't own any manor, so I can't vote, because you can't vote using your land, which is something you should be able to do, I believe. I'm going to work on that. Okay, proposed solution. Suggestion is to create... hold on. Right, here's the problem statement. Okay, let's go over the good things. This is a well-written out proposal. It's well written. He goes the problem, says the proposed solution, and he goes into great detail, and he gives finite answers on everything. So it's a well-written proposal. However, it's naive. So here's the problem. Concentration of power. You have that in all DAOs. Decentraland is too old to have the concentration of power that it has. That is true. Does this work to alleviate that concentration of power? Yes, it does. Unorganized roles, yes, true. Low community participation. You have that in every DAO anyway. That's just a feature of governance. Too much complexity. The grant process is overly complex with excessive steps and rules. We'll get to that, because sometimes a little bit of extra complexity could be good. And the lack of accountability. It's challenged to hold individuals accountable or remove underperforming members, especially when they operate within teams. This is a great problem statement. Okay, so what's the proposed solution? Here's where it gets stupid. I shouldn't say stupid. Here's where it gets a little bit naive. This suggestion is to create a tiered governance system with different levels of participation. Right, so let's give this guy a caveat, or girl. Let's give this person a caveat. This is one part of the solution. So this will mitigate. This will not fix all of these things above. And this person has not, to be fair to them, they've not claimed that it'll fix all of the things above. Will it fix some of them? Yes. Yes, it will. Right, here we go. 4 tiers. The first tier, everyone starts here. That's me. I'm in tier 4. No one cares about them. Tier 3, recognized contributors. This should include landowners. If you're a landowner, you should automatically go up from being a general person who uses the software. If you're a landowner. Recognized contributors. Members who have made valuable contributions to the community. Brackets, including landowners. How to join. VP holders to approve, revoke, deny applications. Here's where you lost me. So how much time are they supposed to be spending, vetting these recognized contributors? How many recognized contributors are we going to have? I would suggest 1,000, rotated 100, maybe a month, 10% churn, let's say, every 2 months. Who's doing all that? Okay. Application. Submit a proposal similar to the open call for delegates, forum discussion with individuals, blah, blah, blah. This is way too much. Then you will be eligible for grants of up to 5,000 to support their projects. Okay, fine. Open this up to landowners and allow landowners to give people this level, to just give them it. You just get it. You get it as an NFT, let's say. Part 2, event organizers and specialists, people who organize major events and special projects. Why? Blimey. How to join approval from tier 1, 2, or 3 members. I like that. Okay. Responsibilities, organize significant community events, fashion weeks, music festivals, blah, blah. Okay, so what does this tier do? What do they get? Benefits. They can receive a monthly payment of $200 and eligible for grants of up to $20,000 to support their projects. Can help nominate candidates. Can be removed by VP holders. Must maintain active participation and meet project goals. Okay, so we've got another role for event organizers. Does that help with the governance? Probably not. It's a good role. Should exist. Okay. Receives monthly payment of $200. How many people are we having in this role? We've not thought this through, have we? 1,000 people? 200,000 a month? We've not really thought this through. Okay. Let's move on. Core developers and leaders. Here I've got a problem. Core developers? Why? What? Okay, so we don't. This is stupid. Receive a monthly salary of $2,000 in Mana and $1,000 vested in Mana for 1 year. No. The answer is why? Group of 10 plus highly skilled developers contributed to Decentraland's core infrastructure and managing tasks each day. So are we talking about governance now or development? Because the two things 100% are separate and should be separate. Governance pays developers, but that's it. As a developer, you should not get any more power in governance than anyone else. Do you know why? Because developers are idiots. That's right. I said it. They're idiots. Great at coding. Away from that, /S. But they shouldn't be deciding governance in any more terms than anyone else. Plus to the fact, if this is their job and we're trying to say maybe that's what they do, $2,000 in Mana and $1,000 vested over a year, we're talking about a year, $24,000 for a developer. Okay. Well, that rules us out of it. No jobs for any Europeans then, because $25,000, I could not keep this roof above my head. Literally. Responsibilities, manage the DAO's treasury, approve grants, mentor members, develop and maintain core platform features built towards community vision. Finally, God tier, visionary leader. They are the boss, the CEO. They've got $2,000, and again, $24,000 a year vested for 1 year. Okay. So, what do we think? I think this is a proposal that should have spent longer in the oven. Obviously, I voted no because a lot of it is stupid. But it's mostly naive because you can't have the visionary leader on 24 grand a year. You can't, because that's not a salary for somebody of that thing. Okay, why is this relevant now? Improve efficiency, encourage fairness, increase accountability, simplify processes, foster growth. All in all, I think this is a no. It's a well-written proposal. It's just not in the real world, not based in the real world. So for that, I have to give it a pass. No, not a pass. I have to give it a X, and it's a no from me. Thank you for coming. On to the next one. The next one is Cosmos. Okay, this one is good. This one is good. This one is good. This one's for all the regular people in the world. So if you never went to Stanford, you're not a doctor of anything, and you're sick to death of these people telling you, I know better because I'm Stanford alumni. I know better because I've managed $100,000 for this firm 75 years ago. I know better. All of that. Here we have a bunch of knuckleheads. I said it. Here we have a bunch of idiots. What? Idiots. So, let's get into it. What is the problem here? AAA or AA DAO, oversight. AA DAO. What is AA DAO? Have I got it up here? No. Okay, AA DAO is the Atom Accelerator DAO. Now, this is a version, let's say, similar to Dash Incubator or Pivot Labs. We've talked about them before, where it's a DAO which it's similar, but this is run more as a DAO, allegedly, which is responsible for giving out funding for people to build on Cosmos. Brilliant idea. And they've got loads of money, and they've got all of these people involved who are supposedly really clever. I guess we all make mistakes, right? So that's what these guys do. So what did they do? How did they really mess up? And why am I following this? Why? It's not a proposal, but it has been well documented by this guy, Cosmos Manning. So here's what happened. There's this what's the word? Convention called Cosmoverse. Cosmoverse is happening next month in Dubai, and Cosmoverse is being done by CryptoSI DAO and all of those lot. Are they called Cosmoverse? No, what are they called? I forget what they're called. But anyway, that bunch, that team. Now that team, they're all right. Like, they're on job most of the time. They make good videos, etc., etc. They kind of know what they're doing. So they're putting on this convention in Dubai. I checked it out, Grand Hyatt. From what I could tell, the capacity is around 5,000, give or take. So it's not tiny. It's a pretty big venue. It's not a stadium or whatever, but it's a pretty big venue. And here are the ticket prices. Now, they put in a proposal to get this funded so that they're not putting money out of their own pocket, although they very well could make money. And I think it's good that the DAO funds this. However, the DAO will be funding it as a grant. So the DAO will give them the 100,000, and there's no talking about what they make to what they're going to give back. So the DAO pays for it. They sell tickets, and I don't know where the money goes. That may cost more than $100,000 to put on a convention in a 5,000 capacity hotel in Dubai. It might cost more than $100,000. I doubt it. Can't get to see the ticket. We don't know if they're having sponsors or whatnot. I don't know. But is the DAO funding these lots venture? How much are they giving back to the DAO? How much are they giving back to Accelerate? They're having a hackathon. All right, cool. Whatever. Well, here's what happened anyway. Here's where it gets really spicy. AA DAO was supposed to send these guys $100,000. They do it in two parts. First part, 80,000 up front. Second part, 20,000. All right, cool. So they've done this last year and they got their money. They've done their convention. Everything went well. Everybody was happy. 2 thumbs up. This year, the AA DAO changed how they make payments. So they stopped making payments in Atom and they now make payments in USDC. Now, USDC is a stable coin which is pegged in dollar. The reason why they've done that is so that if Atom price drops, they don't see their treasury drop. I think I covered that change in a previous episode. I'm quite sure I did. And I was like, oh, isn't that clever? That's really good. That's really good. Because that's what crippled us at PivX and has crippled them at Dash. Having your treasury denominated in your project's tokens is horrific. Because if your project goes down, your treasury goes down. If your project goes up, great. Happy days. All right, cool. When they sent it in USDC, they didn't realize they were sending it to a centralized exchange. So they were sending it to Kraken. So the Cosmoverse guys didn't have their own multi-sig wallet to hold their own funds. Instead, they were sending the funds directly to a centralized exchange. Now, they were probably doing that because they didn't want to get it at Cosmos. They didn't want to get their payment in Atom and hold it in Atom. So they probably last year were saying, send it straight to the exchange. We'll change it to dollars because we don't want to hold on to this rubbish token that we're pumping and promoting to everybody else. We want dollars. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's more than likely, I'm speculating, more than likely what they did. Absolute speculation. Don't sue me. Well, you can if you want to. Unlike you, my money's not on a centralized exchange. Anyway, so they this year didn't send them a different address. They said, use the same address as last year. So send it to the centralized exchange. But they didn't say it was a centralized exchange. Now, these jokers at AA DAO did not confirm. Now, what you should confirm and say is, I'm going to send you this much USDC to this address. It's on you whether or not you can accept that money. If you can't accept that money, that's your business. You still got to do what we're telling you to do. Okay. So they didn't clarify that. Now, I send developers money often. Every single time. Even if it's the same address, I always clarify. I'm sending you this token on this address. Are you sure? Even when we have CryptoSI team, where we have the addresses there, I still clarify. I'm sending you this token to this address. Are you sure? They didn't do it. Now, the money's gone into limbo. Kraken centralized exchange limbo. And now I can get it. Cosmoverse now come back to them and say, well, listen, we need this money, otherwise we can't have this event. And that'll make everybody look stupid because it's in the name and we are the top guys. So they sent them another 80 grand. Where can we see that? An additional 80 grand to Cosmoverse. But they called it a loan. And they said, this 80 grand, you got to give us back. The other 80 grand, you didn't. All right, fine. Cosmoverse came back and they were vexed. They were like, it's not a loan. This guy who was taking notes, he clearly thinks Cosmoverse are idiots. No, I don't think they are. I think it's always down to the sender to make sure they're sending the right thing. I've actually done this before where I sent Bitcoin Cash to a Bitcoin address and lost the money. I've actually done this before. And I took the hit because I sent the wrong thing. This one's a little bit different because they didn't send the wrong thing. So I can understand why he's upset. It's difficult to see where to pin blame. So they argued about it, and eventually AA DAO bent the knee and said, okay, it's not a loan, it's a repayable grant, which means repay if you feel like it. Okay, so here's where you get the chance to get involved. Who do you think is to blame? Please put your answers in the comment section below. Who do you think is to blame? Is it AA DAO or is it Cosmoverse? For me, I'm going to lean with AA DAO. I would say before sending, you have to make absolutely sure, it's your job to make absolutely sure that the money that you're sending is going to reach the person you're sending it to. That's your job. If they've given you an address and you're sending a token that is not the native token of that address, that's on you to make sure that they can, one, accept that token and two, they're prepared to convert it. So you have to make crystal clear what you are sending them, especially if it's not the native token. And you lot should know that, or they should know that. AA DAO should know that. Anybody who watches this show knows that. So that's Cosmos. Let's move on. Next one we're going to make nice and fast because this is turning into one of those marathon episodes, but I'm really enjoying it. The next one is Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter have got this massive budget. Jupiter is an exchange on Solana. They've got this massive budget, this huge war chest. They are the big daddies of DEXs on Solana, along with Radium. But Jupiter is a bit more. They've got a big community. They put out more videos. Their DAO is running very well, despite the stupidity of having proposals that only last 4 days. But it is what it is. I have Jupe. I'm involved in this DAO because it's incentivized. You're incentivized to vote. You get paid to vote. It makes sense to me. Do I like all of the things that they do? Mostly, yes, to be fair. Some of the things I don't like. The main thing I've got a problem with is these stupid proposal levels that are so short. Expecting me to spend my life in your forums. What? No. Anyway, so they've got this big thing. They had these airdrops in Jupuary, which I guess was January. And 215 million Jupe was not claimed. Jupe at the moment is around $1, give or take. Let's see. I'll give you an more accurate thing. I'm saying around $1. There we go, 91 cents. So we're talking about $200 million worth. Okay, $200 million worth wasn't claimed. Crazy. So what should we do with this money? 3 choices. Should we fund 1 more year of ASR with 50 million per quarter? So fund 1 more year of paying people to vote. I think you absolutely have to do this. Otherwise, the price of Jupe just falls through the floor. Burn the tokens. Has its own tokenomic things. Or return the tokens to the community multisig to fund other things. This is the last vote with ASR rewards for this quarter. Claim your rewards in 2 weeks. Vote to continue this practice for future quarters. For me, this one's a no-brainer. I'm voting yes. Number 1, we need to continue doing this. In fact, within the next year of these 50 million full times, we need to find a way to replenish this ASR fund because we need to find a way to pay people for voting. Now, I'm going to include this mechanism within CryptoSI DAO. I can't decide to do it. I'm going to push for this to be included because this is huge. For me, it's the only DAO where you're actually paid to vote. On this one, you're paid to have the masternode. You don't have to vote if you don't want to. You're kind of obliged to, but you don't really have to. Decentraland, this is kind of off-chain, but again, you don't have to vote, and you're not even incentivized to vote. Wouldn't it be great if the landowners were incentivized to vote and take part? Yeah. This would have to be quadratic, so that if you own loads of land, as people do, you don't get massively more payments. AA DAO, Cosmos, again, you're not incentivized to actually vote. So this is something that I would probably like to incorporate in any DAO that I build or I'm involved in the future. I think this works really well, proven to work really well. Inside the full proposal, they do say that. So for me, this one's a yes. I think it's a well written out proposal. The discussion, again, generally with Jupe, everybody's in high spirits and everybody's in a good mood, mostly because people are getting paid rewards all the damn time. So everybody's happy. This guy says burn it. I disagree. And yeah, let's go. Final guest DAO is CryptoSI DAO. Okay, so CryptoSI DAO, let's get into it. We've got a proposal. Oops, no, let's do it that way, actually. Here's one I made earlier. So we've got a proposal. Now, the proposal is for the first membership opportunity for CryptoSI DAO. It's a brand new DAO. And if you've been following, paying attention to this channel, you would have seen this DAO being created over the past, it's been over a year now. Step by step, bit by bit, we've been creating this DAO. Now we're on to the part where we need to do the initial distribution of tokens. And we're doing that on Vulcan Launchpad, which is a launchpad which we made custom built for situations like this. Now, the DAO itself has got 100 or 10,000 tokens you need to put in a proposal. So I've put in this proposal which seeks for me to put out the first 100 million CRDD to fund this launchpad. Let's go to dark mode because light mode is really ugly. So here is the this is my one of my wallets, but that's not me. That's another member of our team. So here you can see the membership. So you contribute, you get tokens. Tokens make you a member. How else you benefit from that has not been set yet, deliberately, because it can't be me that sets it, because I don't want these things to be securities. So they're just membership. If the members decide that there's a way to benefit, or there are people responsible for the benefit, or all that type of thing, that's down to the members. I'm not involved in any of that stuff. Americans, please do not bring violence upon me. So here we have the DAO being distributed. The proposal is here. The proposal is passing. It will take a month. For me, this is obviously a very well-written proposal. It says what the purpose is of the sale is. The good thing is that these funds will go directly from the DAO, which is where the tokens were created, and they will go directly to the smart contracts that control the launchpad, which means that no single person or even multi-sig has ever had control of these tokens. ICO done right in a decentralized manner. But we're not here to pat myself on the back and tell you how smart I am. You already know that. We're here to look at this proposal, and for me, this one obviously is a yes. CryptoSI DAO will definitely be a force to be reckoned with. I suggest you all go and get involved, get membership, contribute. Why not? We will, anytime there is a proposal here, I will cover it on this show. So that's one of the good things. As this show becomes more popular, which it will do, which it just will do, when DAOs become popular, when people realize and they say, oh, this guy's been making these shows for over a year, he knows his stuff. Then I get a big ego. Then I do a bit boy. Then I leave my wife for some new woman. I get a Lambo. I go and start fights. /s. Thanks for watching. I've been CryptoSI. You have all been beautiful. I will see you in the next episode. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you are a Dash person, share so people hear about Dash. If you're into Decentraland, share so people hear about Decentraland. If you're into Cosmos, share. If you're a part of the AA DAO, I'm sorry I called you like knuckleheads, but share. If you're a part of the Jupiter DAO, or you're into Jupiter, or you're into Solana, share. And finally, if you're planning on joining the CryptoSI DAO, which you all should, because although there's an ICO, the market cap starts at 0. So if we have any kind of success at all, everybody's getting rich. Did I say that? Not financial advice. Can I beep that out? It wasn't even me talking. AI. But share. I will see you all in the next one. This one's been a super long episode. I have loved it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Deuces.